Polly Bergen was an American actress, singer, television host, writer, and entrepreneur. She won an Emmy Award in 1958 for her performance as Helen Morgan in The Helen Morgan Story. For her stage work she was nominated for the Tony Award for Best Featured Actress in a Musical for her performance as Carlotta Campion in Follies in 2001. Her film work included 1962's Cape Fear and 1963's The Caretakers, for which she was nominated for the Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, a Eurodrama. She hosted her own variety show for one season, and as an author wrote 3 books on beauty, fashion, and charm. Early life: Bergen was born in Knoxville, Tennessee to Lucy and William Hugh Bergen, a construction engineer. Bill Bergen, as he was later known, had singing talent and appeared with his daughter in several episodes of her 18-episode NBC comedy variety show, The Polly Bergen Show, which aired during the 1957 to 1958 television season. Career: Bergen appeared in many film roles, most notably in the original Cape Fear opposite Gregory Peck and Robert Mitchum. She had roles as the romantic interest in 3 Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis comedy films in the early 1950s, At War with the Army, That's My Boy, and The Stooge. She was featured in a number of westerns during the 1950s, including Warpath, Arena and Escape from Fort Bravo. She also starred in a horse racing comedy, Fast Company, as the first female commander-in-chief in Kisses for My President and as the wife of James Garner in the romantic comedy Move Over, Darling, also starring Doris Day. Bergen's later roles included Mrs. Vernon Williams in Crybaby, a John Waters film. Bergen received an Emmy Award for her portrayal of singer Helen Morgan in the episode The Helen Morgan Story of the 1950s television series Playhouse 90. Signed to Columbia Records, she enjoyed a successful recording career during this era, as well. In the 1950s she also was known as the Pepsi-Cola Girl, having done a series of commercials for that product. She was a regular panelist on the CBS game show To Tell the Truth, during its original run. She also appeared on the NBC interview program Here's Hollywood. She earned an Emmy nomination for her role as Rhoda Henry, wife of Capt. Pug Henry, in 2 ABC miniseries, The Winds of War and its sequel, War and Remembrance. She starred in a 2001 Broadway revival of Stephen Sondheim's Follies at the Belasco Theatre and received a Tony Award nomination as Best Featured Actress in a Musical. Bergen played Fran Falstein on HBO's The Sopranos, the former mistress of Tony Soprano's father, and former mistress of John F. Kennedy. From 2007 to 2011 Bergen had a guest role in Desperate Housewives as Lynette Skevo's mother, Stella Wingfield, which earned her an Emmy Award nomination. She was a semi-regular cast member of Commander-in-Chief as the mother of Mackenzie Allen, the President of the United States, played by Gaynor Davis. Bergen herself had once played the first female President of the United States, as President Leslie McLeod in the 1964 film, Kisses for My President. Another late appearance came in the Hallmark Hall of Fame presentation, Candles on Bay Street, in which she played the assistant to a husband and wife team of veterinarians. In 1965, Bergen created the Polly Bergen Company cosmetics line. She also created lines of jewelry and shoe brands, and authored 3 books on beauty. Personal life: Bergen was married to actor Jerome Cortland in the early 1950s. In 1957 she married Hollywood agent-producer Freddie Fields, with whom she had 2 adopted children, Pamela Kerry Fields and Peter William Fields, and stepdaughter Kathy Fields. The couple divorced in 1975. She was married to entrepreneur Jeffrey Ian Dervelt in the 1980s. Bergen converted from Southern Baptist to Judaism upon marrying Fields in 1957. Bergen was a liberal-minded, politically active Democrat and feminist. She was an active advocate of the Equal Rights Amendment, women's education, and Planned Parenthood. Bergen's niece is the television producer Wendy Reish. Death: Bergen died of natural causes on September 20, 2014, at her home in Southbury, Connecticut, surrounded by family and close friends. She had been diagnosed with emphysema and other ailments in the late 1990s. Filmography == Film == Television Radio appearances. Discography, albums list adapted from AllMusic and Discogs. Albums 1955 Little Girl Blue, 1957 Bergen sings Morgan a Billboard 200 €10, 1957 The Party's Over a Billboard 200 €20, 1958 Polly and Her Pop, 1959 My Heart Sings a Columbia CS80 18 a orchestra conducted by Luther Henderson, 1959 All Alone by the Telephone, 1959 First Impressions a with Farley Granger and Herman Gingold, 1964 Seasons of Love, 1961 Sings the hit songs from Do Re Mi and Annie Get Your Gun, 1963 Act 1, Sing 2, 1996 My Heart Sings a re-release. Singles 1958 Come Prima Billboard Hot 100 a 67. Bibliography, Bergen, Polly. The Polly Bergen Book of Beauty, Fashion, and Charm. Prentice Hall. A Scene B0007E27 RS. Bergen, Polly. Polly's Principles. Bantam Books. A Scene B000H4KY1Y. Bergen, Polly. I'd love to, but what'll I wear? G. P. Putnam Sons. ISBN 978-0872235236. References. External links, Polly Bergen at the Internet Movie Database, Polly Bergen at the Internet Broadway Database, Polly Bergen at the Internet Off-Broadway Database, Polly Bergen at AllMusic, Polly Bergen a Madame President, Gallery, Polly Bergen in Knoxville, Tennessee.